too much on the alligator crocodilian man, and we're not going to let you have that one.
Which is very fair, but again, what does that open up? So on the other side, OMG are going to pick up something like the Ryze, so this most likely going towards Creme, but I wouldn't put it past OMG to have like a flexible top lane that could potentially run the Ryze. So just something to keep your eye out for is, I want to mention, Mazel, that I don't think Abel's ever going to be able to play Samira this year. After last year, after he popped off, and with Samira still being a nice little pocket in the current meta, it just feels bad, man, that Abel's not going to be given a champion that he can really accelerate with. So he's going to try on the Lucian once again, but he's going to be going up probably against the same lane.
I really want to see the Samira Rel combo come through. It's a combo that I just love watching. It's ridiculous. I don't know if Rel will actually come into the meta this year. That's another question to see. But I do like the Ryze. I think it's interesting. I feel like it is along the same lines of kind of where the Victor was, a lot of scaling stuff. But I feel like you can have more influence out of lane, where Creme was just kind of stuck in lane last game. But this. So they ban away his Renekton, and he picks the Camille for Breeze.
Now the question is, are you going to lock in that Nami for the bottom lane duo? Most likely, you definitely want it, because I feel like the Nami has a higher value than something like the Fiora, because Mazel, in this matchup, you usually end up playing Fiora into it, as we've already seen so many times in the LPL. With the IG Anyone's Legend series, the 2 games of it. So I think for RNG, first stop is probably, well, the Fiora ban, is already actually there.
Yep.
So that's one thing taken off the board from my eyes. But I'd be banning away Jax, yeah, that's a good one as well. Another skill matchup up in the top lane. Anything else I'm thinking of, Mazel, that could be actually brutal in the top lane? What do you reckon?
I mean, I wonder if we get the second iteration of the Aatrox. Like, maybe there was just something that went wrong. But against the Camille, I feel like it can be a little bit rough. I'm just wondering, like, what I want to see for Shanji is a fighter, is a bruiser, right? I want to see something that gives him some control in lane. But then last game, you had the early deficit that just kind of put a nail in the head for him. So it's very much about the early setup for Shanji in this one, and especially what he's going to be grabbing. As we do have the Graves and the Galio banned away from RNG. OMG taking some notes. At least, hey, there's growth, Hysterics. They're banning away some of the picks that just destroyed them last time around. And RNG say, well, you do that, I'm going to take away your Vi as well. Wukong, though, finally making his entrance here.
Now, does Wei go into something a little bit more typical like the Maokai? That's the biggest question here. Is RNG still set up, you know, one of those Xiaohu picks, the Lissandra, really big deal right now. And I'm glad we're seeing it here in this game. It's something I think we're going to see a lot more over the next coming patches and even in this week of LPL that we have. So look forward to hear a strong mid with a jungle combination that works really well. Mazel, RNG have done it again. They've really just set up mid-jungle duo to move around the map early and look for skirmishes to snowball this game. A similar game plan with a little bit more volatility. I love RNG's draft here because they're just going to be controlling the early game, or at least trying to.
And I just really appreciate the double reset. I guess not reset for Lissandra as much, but you get the frozen thralls, you get the soul taking from Viego. There's just a lot to keep track of in these fights, and a lot of CC, a lot of catch out ability for RNG, which they used to a T last game, and they didn't even have as much as they have into this game. So you have the consistency of Gala Bunny on the same picks, right? Keeping that comfort down there, and the big change up is on the other side. It is on OMG. You've got the proactivity of the Wukong. Does this change the name of the game for Aki? And then his solo laners have taken up the mantle of the Gwen and the Ryze, respectively. So a lot of confidence needs to be built for this roster. As we hit the Rift for the second time, you hear the fans cheering. We're getting underway onto Summoner's Rift.
As you said, it's good to hear the fans once again. Love the get up.
I just had to give room for the fans. I love hearing it. It just feels, as a broadcaster, just knowing fans are there cheering these players on, knowing they're doing something that I would be doing if I was there as well. It's just, it's too nice. It gives us energy, it gives us hope, and some nice positives here. And also, I'm sure the players appreciate hearing some of those cheers and whatnot. So as we get into the thing here for the second game, OMG again coming in this one with a little bit of a different style, needing to get Aki on that proactive gank list here that Wei was on in game number 1. But going to that, right, Wei is no slouch on the Viego. We've seen him at internationals, we've seen him domestically. This Viego slaps.
It really does, and I think from what we've seen a little bit earlier in the day, like the Viego fell short, unfortunately, from Lucian. But you know, this time around, you have a lot more setup in the lanes. Again, the Camille up on top side, Lissandra as well. You have options for RNG, where if you're looking at OMG, Creme and Arky kind of have to create opportunities. It's about this Ryze Realm Warp, watch for the level 6, and them hitting side lanes, which I think, honestly, like, bottom lane could be a big option to help Abel and Jerry get through an early game that didn't really do much in game number 1 on this same duo pick.
Felt like it was the kind of the theme of OMG, not really doing much in game number 1. But on the opposite side, RNG not falling for that. And I do wonder, even with the change of pick in mid lane for Tangyuan, if he does end up going on the kind of roam game that we saw last time around, do they find an early pathing for them to find, you know, breathe down or get an advantage for breathe early onto Shanji again and snowball from there?
Well, it might depend on the laning phase, because already Shanji with some great trading there. Arky trying to make an opportunity through mid lane, and Tangyuan really smart spacing. You can all see he's hovering towards the bottom side because that's where his jungler is. Some really rudimentary basic stuff, but also some stuff that gets thrown around as not important in the league at all. So Tangyuan just hovering down there. There's no angle for Arky to get in with this lane, especially when Creme has exhausted most of his mana trying to get the shove early here in lane. So nothing happens through mid while bot.
There we go. We're finally, you know, things have gotten more comfortable after game number 1. So 2v2s are going to get a little bit more rampant here as Wei with the early gank bot lane trying to make something happen opposite of what he was able to get last time around. Maybe he's just, you know, front-loading the resources into Gala this time around. It will be a scuttle trap secured by Wei unless Aki decides he wants to come fight for it, which he does have the smite available, but not going to get baited out as Wei is just waiting. Oh, wait, Wei doesn't have smite. I just realized that. So then Aki just walks in and takes it. What did he
okay,
Mazel. I feel like he had the... I feel like he should... Okay, well, hey, it works out for OMG.
A little bit of an audio delay. Don't blame me, Mazel. You heard the smite. You're like, he's got it. Don't worry about it. But Wei does have the level advantage, and, you know, quick and clear, obviously using that extra smite means that he did get the level 4 first. Was angling towards mid, but nothing much he can do when Creme is playing pretty safe within the lane. So a bit of a back here for a double longsword while Arky continues to finish the rest of his clear. I'm kind of just wondering about the first impact here for Wei, because, again, this Viego, you know, the lane to play through is towards mid or use Tangyuan to start moving towards some of these side lanes. But I would be concerned, Mazel, because right now, Breathe is getting zoned out. Shanji with a 15 CS lead from an early trade against this Camille. He's in a really, really good position. I think Breathe is getting a taste of his own medicine for game 1.
Which is something to be said here. I think it's really important for them to kind of, Shanji's going to get some flashbacks right now, and it's not... Oh, wait!
Nice.
The stun goes through, and it's easy peasy first blood for RNG.
Such a crucial time in the gank as well. Breathe was suffering in this lane. Right now, it needs help shoving in the wave. Unfortunately, timing not good, as it's not going to reach the minion wave with the TP coming through. I wish Wei sticked around and just helped him get this push in so he could get a safe back, but Breathe going to be zoned away for the time being. At least get this minion, might help out.
This
Breathe, he wants the push. He wants to push him, but he's got to leave.
He just needed to get the wave in, but it just forces so much damage on him by Shanji.
Mazel, it's gonna be in a bad spot.
It's doomed. It's doomed.
Oh my god! I wish Wei stuck around. That's rough. Again, Wave in a pretty rough state. You know, and only he's just going to Breathe as well. He's got the Sheen, but yeah, this is... I think Wave's going to have to come back up towards the top side pretty soon. Little brother, help me out.
Is this where Wade just says, sorry about ya? Oh, Bubble connects on Bunny.
Nice.
Might be getting caught out. Could not go to Gala, and he's just left out. Last second goes down. Kill early on for OMG in the bot lane.
Well, fish are better than cats, apparently, and I have to be real with you. You know, that timing was just beautiful from Jerry Seinfeld in the bottom lane. So for OMG, this opens up Dragon Mazel, and look, they've actually got opportunities in this game. Top's going really well. Bot in the 2v2 is now in a very good state. I think this time around, getting some of the priority in lanes and not just losing out in the 2v2 trades is a big deal.
And not giving over the early kill at top side as well. Beautiful bubble from, like you said, Jerry. And there's really nothing Bunny can do. As soon as the cooldown comes up, the Airy The ghost kitty. Oh no, it was Abel that got the kill. Well, Ari helped at least, and Dragon actually over to OMG. So that's a big difference from last game where RNG had the early gank top. They moved that into an early Dragon, and Wei was everywhere on the map. This time around, OMG respond to the bot lane pressure with a nice 2v2 of their own, and Aki takes advantage of that by taking the objective.
And it might happen again, Mazel. Look at this brush gank. Here it goes.
Almost. It's a lot of damage onto Bunny as he goes into Gala, but the bubble was not there to follow up. Return to a bit of a state of anxiousness in the bot lane. We do have level 6s starting to come online as Wei has just hit that mark, having the Heartbreaker and maybe a little eye for Creme in the mid lane.
All right, so from here, now we need to see RNG really sync up mid-jungle, open up the mid lane, and start moving to some of these side lanes because they need attention fast, especially now with Creme having Realm Warp. It feels like here is OMG. You're pretty comfortable putting Creme in Fog of War. Mia will be called, and you're like, well, where's Creme going? What angle is he going to pick? So RNG trying to take him down at the source, but you can see that Creme, good lane ward there, just spotting out that Tangyuan is missing from wave. And he might be trying to match where this Ryze wants to Realm Warp himself.
And that's where the matching is going to be so important, because you don't have that Realm Warp, but you do have a lot of mobility on the Lissandra. And Tangyuan is going to have to find those big CC moments, a lot of AoE damage, or be the bait in the fights. And so far, he's really trying to buffer that here. Realm Warp does come through for Creme, trying to catch out Wei. They get the nice Heartbreaker over the wall. The Needlework's starting to slow down, and Wei will fall. Another kill to OMG just after they took the Rift Herald.
All for the Herald, but the Herald for RNG, when they're so far behind, I mean, not so far behind, but you guys know what I mean. Like, these lanes are suffering. Might actually be beneficial for Wei's life. So, Aki having to burn the flash and ulti to get on top of him. We'll just have to see where the Herald goes. I'd love to see it up in the top side. I think Breathe needs to breathe at this point, Mazel, because Shanji is bullying the crap out of him at this point. And with that earlier wave set we saw, it just took Breathe out for about 20 CS now as the difference. So with the slow push coming back in, it might be a good opportunity for Wei to end up pathing towards the top side and get a bit of a counter that could be coming for Aki being up here as well.
And I want to do a little dive in onto Shanji here, right? We were highlighting his Shyvana pick, right? Making that really a mainstay for himself last year. But he was one of the hottest LDL prospects coming out and promoted in 2022 spring. And to see him make the name for himself last year, start growing those fans is so important. And then you get matched up like against Breathe. The amount of accolades that the top laners have in the LPL, and you wonder, does he have what it takes? And then you remember back to summer, back to spring, when he has those moments against the likes of The Shy, 369, Wayward, where he does have incredible mechanical intensity. And it's moments like this where you're like, okay, let's see what can happen for this guy who was so lauded last year.
And it took him a while to get going as well, right? Like spring, he had 3 weeks of absolute blisses. I need to pause because Wei's going to find Aki. It is just a clone. But furthermore, I think we saw such beautiful play from Shanji in summer. And, you know, again, he's been maintaining that so far here in the series, especially in the second game. It's been pretty desirable as Tangyuan just rotates the spells here with the unsealed spell because they got him.
Big flash and instant kill. That's a big pickup as Aki falls. The Heartbreaker available now in the mid lane. Creme, he's pretty tanky though, starting to stack up now, having completed that Rod of Ages. So nice stuff as a response from RNG in the mid lane, and off the back of Wei and Tangyuan. That is huge.
Mazel, all I can say is I've been waiting for them to link up for the entire time. it
finally happened.
Yeah, it's even through mid, even through roaming, we needed RNG's mid jungle to link up, and a beautiful play sets up Wei here for the Lissandra. He has a CS lead as well, so this jungler is making progress. As we look at the replay, and Tangyuan just gets the ignite down, gets true sight, sees Creme moving back to the wave, and Wei just waits. So this is really good patience from RNG. Great pathing from Wei as well as he avoids vision as we got him top now.
Dude, Wei is just fighting for MVP already in his first series of the season, it feels like. This man is just domineering. the jungle in this series. It's actually incredible to see the step up from this guy, a step up that we've already seen him do, it feels like, over and over again.
And dude, it was game one where he had like all the tools of success. Like I think Breeze set him up for the dive, right? Set him up for success. But game number 2, he's the one who's carrying this game because Breeze had a really sufferable lane state. He lost to the trades in Shanji early game, and it's got to come back to Aki versus Wei. I mean, Wei is just so proactive, as you said, here in this series. Now sets up first turret blood. The Herald I've wanted to see put top has been achieved. Breathe gets to recover a bit here in this game. And props to Wei, who just countered mid so well, who read Aki like a book, and now has just translated that to the top lane, where Breeze should have his Divine Thunder. Yep, just picked up, and is now finally matching Shanji.
And they got first tower at 12 minutes. They also got another charge on the tier 2. Now we're getting a 2v2 at the bot side. Final chapter was utilized as well as the tidal wave, but Summoning Spell is still going to be available there. And that's a huge amount of worth in the top side of the map for RNG, which means that Wei is free to start focusing back onto this mid and bot lane. As Breathe himself is going to go ahead and take that Otis. Seeing the Hex Gate utilized there, just waiting in the bush.
That ward spots out Aki.
Oh,
That's
no.
big. Now the lightning crash. Gala gets locked down, but Breathe with the flash. Not going to connect on top of Abel, but no Hex Deck ultimatum means Breathe has to stop right there. He flashed on him without that ulti, Mazel.
Oh, Creme! He gets caught out. Does he have the damage back, though? That's the Frozen Tomb on top of him. The stun followed up by Wei. He's got the Conqueror stacked up, but Creme is so tanky, stacking up that Rod of Ages. He goes golden. Bubble misses. Tangyuan is in there, but he goes at least golden to save the day. Creme, maybe he gets out with the
Oh!
Breathe with the shutdown!
You gotta love RNG when a plan comes together. Wei is such a baller. As Breathe now looks for Shanji with the Hextech ultimatum up and available. He wants this with Divine Thunder and Mazel.
One hit from the second Q takes a huge chunk off of Shanji. Wei didn't even come up here. He knew that his top laner had this, but does he? A couple more auto attacks. It's so close. Hookshot misses, but he gets the kill. And Breathe chose the top gap. Flex them muscles, baby.
Shanji has his head in his hands. He's so tilted because Wei literally carried this game into what is looking like an RNG win. I cannot believe Breathe got that solo kill, but more importantly, like, dude,
man,
Shanji is either sad or pissed off. Both are acceptable with the way this game's going.
I mean, it is bearing down on him. That is 3 times you've seen his head in his hands since it happened. It is one of those moments that is a moment for you to shine, for you to make a pop-out play in the original game of your season, as we get a replay of that chaos in front of the Dragon Pit. But the double resets, the frozen thralls with the Heartbreaker, it's just too hard to handle with. And then we get this beauty of a 1v1.
Dude, I feel so bad for Shanji. He played the lane so well and they just got jungle capped.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, props to Breathe Mazel for the 1v1. Like, this is well played. Fancy footwork. Does get hit by quite a lot, but then it's the E that heads up for the Q. Close call, dude.
My
Breathe.
goodness.
He must be so composed,
And
but
then
Shanji is now 0-3.
Flexing the top gap thing on his arm. Oh my god. What has I saw somebody put it on Twitter earlier, but what has Brance done to the esports world where now just everybody's top gap and everybody's ADC gap, and I love it. And it shows the personality that we know and love that we don't get to see often from LPL players. So it's a beautiful reprieve to kick off the new season with all these smiling faces, the joyous moments, and maybe some of the heartbreak for OMG so far.
I was going to say, not all smiling faces anymore, my friend. As RNG gets threatened, Gala taking a bit of damage, but look who's here to save the play.
He's just constant. He
You're
is
joking.
literally Thanos. He is just inevitable. And immediately, you get the re-engage from Aki with the double Cyclone, and they get 2 back. Big engage from Tangyuan, and that's immediate follow-up by Breathe. And you think it goes well, and then you get 2 kills over to Gala, and your hopes are diminished.
Dude, Wei, even though he dies, I mean, this guy is literally the father of this team. You're right, Mazel, the direction's definitely there. Props to Aki for, standing on top of the passive. Can't get that Sovereign's Domain. Domination, whichever
Dude,
it is.
Tangyuan though, that was the play that made it, right? Like
It
everything's
was.
kind of going to hell in a handbasket in the beginning part.
Like, we'll watch this again. So Wei getting the max range. As stun comes through, he's looking for the reset, but it's the final Aqua Prison on death that Jerry helps secure. Aki on top of the passive means Wei can't reset and continue on. But you said it, Tangyuan, beautiful engage coming through. Breathe is just the final nail in the coffin as well. And Shanji with his 4th death, man.
Oh, I feel
He
so
TP'd
bad.
into that play. I do too. Like, this is this is so relatable right now that it's just a team gap. It's a massive jungle gap that for RNG, they're playing so well with Wei. And now with the Yuumi on top of him as well in most cases, Wei is just taking over the map and OMG have to pay respect, especially around neutrals like this as a number 3.
Yeah, and they are fully set up for this, right? And you have an almost 4,000 gold lead developed for RNG. They haven't gotten the dragons. I mean, you have the one on the table right now, but it's been more so about the fight setup for them. And especially, like you said, when does Wei and Breathe come into the fight? Because that's when you know you need to turn tail and run for OMG. They're going to try to get this outer tower in mid lane. Keep that priority in mid lane, I think would benefit them here. The Wei is ever present on the side lane. Maybe OMG can sneak out with the tower.
Well, at least opening up mid would be so beneficial. They actually got Tangyuan. He goes golden, though. Has that ultimate available that follows through. But yeah, the time was good, Mazel, but really not enough. I've realized I keep taking your role, brother.
I'm here for it, man. Don't apologize. I'm here for it, man.
I'm like, what the hell am I saying? Oh, it's hard, dude. All right. Mazel, Dragon wasn't taken, though. And I will set you up to say that OMG are together as a 5-man unit, but Breathe is lurking.
Yeah, he is. And Tangyuan not having, not having the TP available for him. But RNG, that is way central right now. He's getting taken out, though. Bubble misses. Heartbreaker misses. He goes down. That is the primary carry here. Breathe goes in, though. And Gala's putting in the AoE. Breathe goes down. Gala's the only one left with his support. Flash out from Gala. Gala's trying to make it happen. He wants another Gala kill highlight reel. And he's trying to put down the dragon here. He still has the AoE. He wants to get Abel, goes in. Gala can't get the damage down. It's so back and forth. He's got the Hex Tech gates coming through here for Tangyuan. Is he going to be able to follow the rest of them? It's a flash. It's a kill. Everybody's gone. And Royal truly never give up.
Gala's a behemoth, man. The sidestepping, the fancy footwork, the flash from Jerry's bubble was everything. And you just look at this man and you see the exuded confidence coming through. It might be Zeri, but Gala makes it a reality as they end up getting the dragon, Mazel. Look at the replay because this was a 4 versus 5. Yeah. Remember that Tangyuan died at the start of this play, and Wei even, did a psychopath move of ulting in. As that misses, you're like, oh no, Breathe might get a trade kill here, but this should be OMG finding the kill, finding the dragon, and moving to solve point. But the flash from Jerry's bubble, the setup, the zoning, and you're like, dude, this Zeri is just an annoying mosquito that we can't deal with. As props to Bunny for dismounting there, getting the shield off and blocking Abel, and then Tangyuan just gets to finish off the final kill.
A little piece to that, actually, I didn't realize it until we were looking through a replay. It was double chain lightnings coming through, both from the Hextech Dragon and from the lightning crash of Gala. So it was just AoE central in that, and they were taking consistent damage. So OMG needing to maybe plot their bases a little bit more where they're going to be setting up fights, and RNG will take holistic advantage of that, right? They are still hovering at 3,000, just under that 4,000 gold lead, and it has been primarily, again in this game too, Wei and Gala, who are the ones we're keeping our eyes on. Now Wei maybe needs to temper himself a little bit, but it's starting to work their way.
No, dude. That's not Wei's style.
That's not Wei. Yeah, what am I talking about? Tempering? Nah. That's I feel like what I should say about Aki too.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, Aki, I think, needs to temper up a little bit because, that was great engage, and there have been better moments here on the Wukong, but seeing that proactivity out of OMG, that's what's going to net them the win here. And that Realm Warp's what we're talking about, but right now, Creme's on the other side of the map while Wei and Breathe continue to assault the inner turret on the bot side. Mazel, I want to see OMG not only utilize Realm Warp, but play towards the Gwen, play towards Lucian Nami, and find some of those picks before the potential Baron, before the next Dragon spawns as well, because Right now, side lanes are being run so well by RNG with this 1-3-1 setup that is revolving around how strong Breathe is now with the Hull Breaker.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to point out is the items coming across here. That Hull Breaker is huge in terms of the style that Breathe wants to bring into this one. You're getting close to that 3-item spike for the ADCs. You've got your second item completed for Wei. Even for Creme, right? He's got the 10 stacks on the Roas. He's got his Seraph's Embrace. He's working on the Zanyas. You do have some of that scaling coming on for OMG and even for RNG, right? But that item differential in the moment, if it doesn't kind of come to grips here, that could just be another dragon positioned and taken by RNG.
And look, with RNG, they're also going to have a 3-item Zeri in the next dragon. I guarantee you, 2 and a bit minutes. Although I haven't seen Gala back for a while, but they are gearing up for a play towards the mid lane, and that definitely would guarantee my statement. But I'm just waiting for Gala to show us how close he is to the IE. This Breed is almost caught out here, getting deep vision in OMG's jungle.
Man, it feels like cheating sometimes. You can just extend that far and you can't get punished with your hook shot. Man, it feels bad. I'm just having a little bit of fun with it. But Shanji definitely wishes he could have some CC, some lockdown to try to keep down Breathe. Just has not been able to just yet. Does the Gwen end up scaling into infinity? Does she become immune? I'm sure she'll at least finish second item here pretty shortly, but it is pings from OMG towards the Baron, trying to get vision set up so that RNG, with the lead they have, can't just outright take the objective from them.
We'll get some of these wards to see the rotations from RNG as well. It's another important point in front of the Baron, because what you want to see is OMG really controlling some of that vision line so they can watch RNG where they're going to be rotating next and try and use that Ryze proactively to set up that pick that would lead to the neutral. So I think right now we're seeing Creme go to the top side, but maybe angling with the Ryze or maybe even looking towards mid lane for a pick. That's what I'd like to see before Dragon comes up in about a minute. Now, Mazel, I was wrong. I thought Gala would be a little bit closer towards Infinity Edge. It's only BF Sword in the inventory right now, so Gala won't have that big 3-item power spike that, at the moment, Abel's actually rocking here.
Yeah.
So the Infinity Edge now picked up this way.
The early advantage doesn't really do much. Tangyuan goes in. Now Gala's in the back line with that lightning crash, doing a ton of AoE, but has to flash away. Aki's right there to respond to him, and Gala is down. RNG have lost the team fight after consecutively winning, but here comes Breathe. 1v5 right now, flashing over the wall, using the Hex Gate to get a quick escape. It is just Wei, Bunny, and Breathe who survive, and OMG, they're actually pinging towards the Baron.
I think RNG might be feeling it too much there. 1 by 1, they go in to die, and now OMG, as you said, have a free chance of Baron. This does mean that RNG will get the Dragon, but look, at this point, OMG need a lot to catch up, and this is just going to be perfect for them. So, major win for OMG to get back into this game and back into this series, and give them a little bit more time for this Gwen, as you were saying before, to become relevant with the second item and in these side lanes. As Mazel, it was over a ward here. Wei gets caught out. Heartbreaker's through. But Aki pulls the trigger straight away. And look, Tangyuan is trying to cover this while Gala does a bit of a Jackula, except this one's not tragic. Goes a bit too deep and, yeah, kind of has to peel his way out. But there's no way he's getting through after all that damage. And then Breed, just a late TP. I don't know. I was talking about RNG being so well-versed, so well, I guess, developed with their new roster. That's one of the cracks.
Yeah, for sure. It might be a little bit of a big one, too. Loved to see the decision-making from OMG. The second they saw Gala go over the wall, like they were just like sharks to chum. And I think that being able to get that couple kills and put down RNG definitely puts them in a better position, right? They're only within 500 gold now. This Baron is up for 2 minutes for them, and that is a ton of map control.
And look at how many resources they can take down as well. You look at bottom side, that's the outer turret for Shanji. There's inner turrets through mid, through bot, through top. There's a lot of standing gold right now for OMG.
Oh, they tried to get Abel. Frozen Tomb. Now the resets, the Frozen Thralls, the Heartbreaker. Wei goes down as well, though. Shanji has scaled, and he's immune, baby. Shanji may have put down 0 and 4 to start the game, but he'll help secure a double kill for Aki. While Breed is pushing the top side, he does get an inhib tower, and there's not much more for OMG to get unless they transition to the bot side. But Breed is a menace, and Shanji, I don't know if he has what it takes. He's already bursted everything, and the inhib will fall to Breed. trying to make it out now. It's a
Oh my
huge chunk of
God.
damage onto Shanji, but he will slowly but surely be snipped down. No! Oh my gosh, Shanji gets the kill in the last second. The Hextech ultimatum does not save his life for Breathe. And unfortunately, in mid lane, not going to find the tower for OMG.
And that must feel so good. Shanji must be smiling ear to ear right now. He picks up the kill, he has a bounty, and in that last fight did so much work. Like, OMG's top laner has been sent into the loony bin the whole game, thanks to Wei as a jungler. But these mistakes from RNG, these plays that they're trying to create, OMG are punishing them well. So Abel goes forward here into Tangyuan to get a trade, but he gets just out of range of Tangyuan while he has to go golden. So one member out of the fight while Wei gets the reset. But look at Creme and look at Shanji. Right into the back line. The needlework flies through. And again, redemption feels great. And props to Creme as well. I mean, that Ryze is hitting the point. The scaling that we talked about for OMG is definitely kicking into gear. And while you have a Camille in the side lane, now you're going to have a Gwen who's starting to match it, who's level 16, who's pretty close towards a Void Staff as well. I think we will get to a point where these 1v1s will be crucial, but more so Shanji will have a bigger say in them as well. Right now, OMG are feeling comfortable, Mazel. They've got a gold lead, but I think they're going to start winning some of these 5v5s with the power of Creme, the power of Shanji, and the all-in damage that is going to start to really hurt RNG.
Yeah, and as you're saying, I mean, they're just starting to scale up here. They're completed 3.5 items now for Creme, working on that third item for Shanji, and that was the kicker. Can OMG make it to the late game like they were unable to do in the first game of the series, where they did have that scaling aspect to them? So this is definitely a much better setup where they find themselves in the lead past 28 minutes, and they have a lot going for them in terms of those team fights, right? The next objectives will not be easy for RNG to capitalize on. A minute and 20 seconds to one of these teams gets soul point on a Hextech Soul, and RNG have consistently been fighting right before the objective.
And we're going to have to look closely at items, Mazel, because that 3-item Zeri has finally come through, but there's something more important. It's that the Nami has 2 herself. Wei has to ulti out, but Mazel, the Putrefier is going to have a lot of value here in this game. You're talking Camille, you're talking the Zeri, you're talking with the Yuumi itself. That Nami is going to be taking away a lot of healing, but one of the biggest ones that people don't think about is Wei's passive healing. So all it takes is Nami to land Tidal Wave, to land Ebb and Flow, no matter what it is. Reducing the healing on RNG is going to give OMG a lot more of that burst potential that we've seen so far in these fights. And actually, I think is one of the biggest item advantages that OMG have right now.
And we see here Wei is opting into that. I'm going to engage. I'm going to start out the fight. If I die, oh well, because he's got the GA. And that's a big piece to the engage potential that we've already seen be working for RNG, but slowly starting not to work. And I think that GA is going to free up Wei a lot of the times when it's up to have one of those big crazy engages onto Abel, onto Shanji maybe. But the biggest question for me for RNG, we said at the draft, they have a ton of pick potential. I mean, Tangyuan, Wei, and Breathe all have the tools to get somebody out. But now we're getting to a 5v5 stance, and OMG are playing pretty well around healing for Abel and for these carries. How do they find an approach?
That's a good question. I think you need to be looking towards... You need to kind of be looking towards... Mazel. I was looking at Tangyuan. I'm like, is he going to be going in? More importantly, I'm looking at Breathe. I was going to say you're going to be looking at that engage straight away, but I'm actually more important looking at the top lane because Breathe is threatening up that turret just as the Dragon's live and trying to push in for the end to threaten. And look, OMG took the bait.
They literally did. Like, they just got baited completely, and now Creep's just in the pit. And the rest, he's flazzing the wall. They don't want to let him go. Shanji's found Gala. That's a big rush over the wall. Gala does not survive, though. And OMG, they're coming to town, and they're cleaning house. Wait, look at Breathe. Do they have any TPs to respond to this? Cream can TP back, but they're going to go ahead and initiate the 2 backs. Breathe is on.
He does a lot of damage.
He's doing so much work. TP
I don't think that turret's going to stay there.
TP is wasted. Are they going to finish it? No. Fire! Oh, no, Breathe. He's not going to be able to be stopped. And that's just game 2. That's the series. RNG. The beautiful smiles on the faces and a beautiful 2-0 to kick off the season.
The back door was always a threat from Breathe. It was always a threat. He showed it over to Shanji. But then when they all commit the flash over from Creme, they know OMG are going all in this fight. They just TP too late. It's not one member back at the start. It's a late recall. They don't have the Baron buff. And Breed does so much damage that point in the game on turrets.
Yeah.
That's just a beautiful way to end for RNG. A game that shouldn't have been theirs, Mazel. I think OMG deserved to win that second game and take us to 3.
Yeah.
But Bree just with the clutch factor.
Not committing the TP early enough by Creme. I mean, he had it from the initial fight there in the bottom lane, wanting to start his back. Then they got stopped, then TPing. The tower was already gone. Literally, Bree 3-shot that tower. And again,